Welcome to the Gateway24 Business and Client Setup tutorial. As described in the overview tutorial, I will show you how to create a business ID which reflects your Sage company and a client ID which contains all the master data and the link to your client's iInvoice.it system. If you select My Accounting from the main menu and then Businesses, we can see here that I already have two businesses. If I open Sage, I have a third business, Forbes Limited, and I want to export the information for this business and import it into the Gateway system. So if we select Sage Additions and then Gateway24, we then select Export Firm, select the Forbes Limited, open, and we get a message saying that the export is done. OK, and exit. And if we return to Gateway24, we now want to import the file that we've just created. Select the file, import firm, open, and we can see here it gives us a preview of what we're about to import. And if we select import, we receive an information message informing us that Forbes Limited has been imported and it is complete. So if we close, we can see now in Businesses we have a Forbes Limited. If you double click it to open, you can see it contains the data. The code is the key here. It reflects exactly what you have in your Sage company. For the maximum length of customer code and supplier code, we tend to enter 40 as a default. If we save and close. The next section is how to create the client for Forbes company. If you select My Studio, again you can see here under clients we have two clients set up but not a Forbes one. So what we want to do is select New and Client. If we select the source application type, iInvoice.it, because this is the parameters that link to your client's iInvoice.it system, and then an AMS destination business ID, we select the business ID that we just created and it automatically updates. If we now save and close, you can see here that it has created a new client. If I return to My Accounting and Businesses and open up Forbes Limited, we can now see that the linked icon is highlighted and the iInvoice.it icon is also highlighted, indicating that this business is linked to the client Forbes Limited. In addition to the basic data that you see here, you have your account management system link options. If you select that, these are the parameters that will allow you to process any transactions from iInvoice.it into the Sage system. Accounting causes, sales payments, cash receipts, sales receipts, etc. These are all basic standard Sage settings and should never need to be changed unless there is any updates to Sage that require you to do so. Accounts, because your clients are not accountants, the codes that are imported into their iInvoice.it system reflect the business transactions that they're going to actually process. For example, any bank payments or receipts that are processed by your client will automatically update General Ledger account 1200 within the Sage application. Sales VAT, standard default, 5, 0 and 20%. VAT classifications if these are applicable to your client's business. All this information is automatically populated from the general configuration. So within general configuration we can see all the same values that we just reviewed there within your client's account management system. In addition to the default settings, you can add and remove settings within this. So if a client has a specific setting, general account setting, that is unique to this client, then you can set up, you can add in any additional ones that you want, and they will be specific to this client. So if I create a test one, for example, and then you select your general ledger code, if I just test and enter the code, and we can see here that this is clearly defined. I just save it. It doesn't have a tick in the global indicating that it's a client specific setting. And we can see here as well that these ones are all global settings. The final piece of the account management system parameters is defaults. Again, out of the box, when you install Gateway, all this information will automatically populate and is based on standard Sage settings. They can be changed to suit your specific business and account settings simply by selecting the drop downs and selecting the appropriate general ledger accounts. These default settings are the opposite side to any transactions. So for double entry bookkeeping, whenever you process a sales receipt or a sales payment, it has to impact the other ledger account, which is defined here. So sales account, for example, would be updated for any sales transactions. And that concludes the tutorial.